Alright guys, today we're going to be doing a cryptocurrency video. I'm Thor Sandalwood, by the way, so if this is your first time seeing my channel, I focus on Vedic astrology, and right now we're doing a cryptocurrency series where we're looking at different cryptocurrency birth charts to see if we can predict what kind of cryptocurrencies will be profitable for you in the future. As of today, April 23rd, 2021, there was actually a lot of news today with Wall Street because apparently Joe Biden announced that there was going to be higher taxes on capital gains. And with that announcement, the cryptocurrency market lost a lot. And I know Bitcoin fell below 50,000 today, and I think it actually stayed below 50,000. And so right now, this time of government regulation, we have Saturn transiting the 10th house, the natural 10th house of Capricorn. So I'm expecting to see more government regulation, more taxation. So we're going to have to analyze these cryptocurrencies one by one to really see, what kind of success we can have with each one. Let me get you guys the presentation I set up for you. And the first slide kind of was what I was going to talk about. The capital gains tax that was announced. Bitcoin fell below 50,000, and today we are analyzing birth chart of Theta cryptocurrency. And we'll go back. One more thing before we start with the reading, guys. I wanted to, let me grab onto my presentation here. Just give you guys the disclaimer that this is not meant to replace the advice from a qualified financial planner. I use the sidereal zodiac, not the Western tropical zodiac that many of you guys are familiar with. Images and charts are used under fair use. Predictions are my interpretation of astrological data. The video is for entertainment purposes only. So thank you guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. And there's probably a few of you, maybe you're clicking on this video for the first time, and maybe you don't know anything about astrology. Maybe you're thinking this is kind of quacky, or this is something that's kind of strange. And so I like to basically just really quickly in a nutshell explain astrology before we go to the Theta cryptocurrency reading. And basically the ancient science of astrology, and I focus on Vedic astrology, guys. Vedic astrology is the ancient astrology from ancient India. And, India is where we get Sanskrit alphabet from. It's where we get yoga from. It's from that same place that Vedic astrology comes from. And so, my name, Thor Sandalwood, I'm borrowing Thor. I'm of Scandinavian ancestry. And then also sandalwood is kind of like the sandalwood incense that people use in the East. So I was combining both of those ideas because basically what I'm doing is changing this astrology to my unique form of astrology. So let's go through with the ancient science of astrology. It's known as the science of light. The astrological chart is the blueprint of your karma. The planets and stars are the keepers of the Akashic records. They are the radio transmitters of your karma. Everything has karma, a person, a country, a corporation, financial systems, and so on. So I was watching something, and I was watching a video about karma, and they were saying, and this is the truth, is, whole countries and nations of people have karma. When you go to different countries and you start traveling internationally, you'll notice that certain groups of people think a certain way. They perceive the world in a certain way, and that all has to do with karma. So the karma of a collective civilization can influence everybody on a small or large scale, depending on how awake or asleep everybody is within that society. And guys, one more thing before we start is please like and subscribe. If you like astrology, if you like the cryptocurrency thing, if you like readings on celebrities, on politicians, please like and subscribe. My goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers and spread this ancient knowledge and show how it has modern applications. If you're interested in your own reading, please email me or check below for details. And also, guys, I want to announce today in today's live stream that I am launching a website, thorsandalwood.com. It's under construction right now. So if you want to take a preview of it, feel free to take a look at my website. And through the website, I'm going to have that kind of be the centerpiece of where people can start requesting readings. If you guys want, it's not operational yet though, so if you're interested in a reading, just email me at thor.sandalwood@gmail.com. The web address, again, for my website is thorsandalwood.com. Very simple. Just my name.com. All right, let's go. We're going to take a look at Theta. And so I have a list from one of my subscribers. He so generously populated for me. And basically, it's just like a list of almost like 20 cryptos. And so I'm really new to the cryptocurrencies. And I was thinking, how can I use astrology for us to better understand cryptos? And maybe this could have some real value to people. So I just picked Theta. I think it's like number 17 or so on if you look at the top 50 cryptocurrencies. I do plan on doing more videos on XRP and Chainlink and those kind of cryptocurrencies. So far we've done Bitcoin and we've done Ethereum. So let's take a look. So the Theta crypto birth chart, we have March 15th, 2019, 7:01 p.m. UTC, San Jose, California, USA. That's where it was born. It's a Gemini ascendant, moon in the first house. So let's take a look at the chart real fast. There's the birth chart for Theta. And you guys, when we're talking about the houses right here, if you're new to astrology, the first house is going to be this house right here, the one that I always highlight. And Gemini, so it's interesting that it's a Gemini, being that Gemini, let's click back. Being that Gemini, it rules computers, networks, communications. It's kind of always interesting when you see something actually being a Gemini. And then when I looked at Ethereum, we found out Ethereum was also a Gemini ascendant. So that's kind of interesting. Moon in the first house, if you guys see right there, would typically, like in a person's chart, you would think that this person has a lot of qualities of their mother. And obviously we're talking about a cryptocurrency, so we're not going to see those motherly qualities there. But what you will notice is that the moon right here is Lord of the second house right here. And this whole thing with the second Lord being in the first house is really good for money. It's really good for wealth. So right away we know, okay, this is something that's serious that we could possibly make some money with here. And let's take another look at some of the attributes of Theta cryptocurrency. We have Rahu in the second house too, guys. If you guys notice right here, Rahu in the second house can be very good for very rapid earnings. So also another thing, you notice Mars is in the 11th house. And remember, guys, your money houses are going to be, number 2 and 11 is going to be money. 2 and 11. So we always look at those houses. We got money going on. Rahu in the second house, that's going to be money. Mars in the 11th house, that's going to be money. Now, if Saturn was in the 11th house, or if Saturn was in the second house, then I would say there would be blockages there for money. It's a blockage. But Mars is going to be really fast moving through networks and creating that kind of thing. Let's take a look longer. We also notice, guys, in the Theta chart right here that the sun is there in the 10th house, and sun really is very powerful in the 10th house. Sun gives you that authority. Now, it's a cryptocurrency, so I would think the sun being in the 10th house, and 10th house is the house of public reputation, that the sun in the 10th house would be more for public visibility. This is very visible cryptocurrency. It's up and coming. And, when we look into the transits and we look at the Mahadashas, which we're going to talk about shortly, we'll see that I do see a very rapid rise in the next 6 months. But then I'm going to say we're going to look into when Theta enters its Jupiter Mahadasha, which we're going to look into shortly. I think it's going to have a lot of problems. One of the things with these cryptocurrencies is, you know, we're in this new age of there's like 30, I don't know, there's probably 100 cryptocurrencies. I don't even know the count of them. And so we know that there's going to be cryptocurrencies that simply just don't make the cut. We know probably just like anything else, you know, just like I remember a few years ago, it used to be Blu-ray versus the, what was it? The HD player, the other one, you know, and Blu-ray was the one that took over. So I think that with cryptocurrency, we're going to see probably a few take over most of the market at some point. Let's also take a look. One of the negative issues I see in Theta's chart, guys, is this Jupiter placement right here. And it's in the 6th house. And you guys, 6th house right there. 6th house, think of 6th house as like your house of major problems. 6th house is it's one of the Dashtana houses. You got the 6th house, you got the 8th house, and you got the 12th house. 6th house is going to have to do with debts. It's going to have to do with enemies. It's going to have to do with service. In the ultimate yoga level, 6th house is the house of service. But 6th house really generally just in everyday person's life or a company's life, it's going to bring a lot of problems. And then you got Jupiter there. What is Jupiter the Karaka of? And Karaka means, what's the meaning of Jupiter? Jupiter has its own meanings just being Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It's the planet of growth. So if you have the planet of expansion and growth in the 6th house, what you see is an expansion of debt, an expansion of problems. So we don't like to see that. One of the other issues I see with Theta cryptocurrency, because, you know, nothing's perfect, right, is right here, guys. If you look at Venus right here, Venus is the natural Karaka of, again, money. So anywhere Venus represents money, but it represents marriage and stuff like that, but it represents money. It's the natural planet. Now, you see it's associated with Ketu. And, you know, through mere association with Ketu, a planet can tend to lose. If it was with Rahu, it would be the opposite. If Venus was with Rahu, it would be like, okay, this is a major exaggeration of Venus. But when Ketu's next to another planet, it usually is more of a scattering energy to that planet. And for money purposes, a Venus in a chart can almost override even the 2nd and 11th houses. Venus is the ultimate Karaka of money, luxury, and all that types of things. When someone has a very damaged Venus in their chart, it can cause all sorts of problems. It can cause problems in relationships, and it can cause problems with money. Let's take a look at the Dasha. So that's just like a quick little overview of Theta's chart. Let's take a look at the Dasha that Theta is in. Oops, let me see. I'm grabbing the Mahadasha. So the Mahadasha, Theta is currently in Rahu Mahadasha Mars Bhukti. And that started September 9th, 2020. It ends September 28th, 2021. And we'll show you guys that one. Right there, guys, if you can see. So right here is where Theta is. And you notice there's this transition right here. There's this transition between these two Mahadashas. So you got Rahu right here. And then you got Jupiter right here. This is a huge sea change that people need to understand. Whenever you have a Mahadasha change, it's huge. I saw your question, Cash. Where do you see Theta in May of 2026? I haven't gone that far, May of 2026. Jupiter is benefactor and should help Theta, right? I don't see Jupiter, in this case, I don't see Jupiter helping Theta in the 6th house. Jupiter, see, a benefic planet in the 6th house is usually a problem. A bad planet like a Mars or Saturn in the 6th house, that's actually good. So if a malefic planet is in the 6th house, that's good. If a benefic planet is in the 6th house, it's usually not good. So I do see that 26, there might be, like, I haven't gotten that far with the predictions that I'm doing. With this, we're mostly focusing on 2021 and the next year or two. And so let's go, guys. Or I'm continuing here. So if you guys see, it's only in this Rahu-Mars period for what? Until September. So coming September, which is only a few months away, what, May, June, July, August, September, it's only about, what, 5 months away, that it's going to be entering this entirely new Mahadasha. It's going to be entering Jupiter, and Jupiter's really going to be expanding that 6th house energy. And also we got to remember that Jupiter's lord of the 7th house and the 10th house. We will talk about that in just a moment. But let's talk about the Rahu Mars thing that's going through right now. And let's go back here. See, Rahu is in the 2nd house. That's good for rapid increases in value. And this is all the way till September, guys. September of 2021. Rahu in 2nd house, good for rapid increases in value. Mars in 11th house and 11th lord, great for increases in value as well. So right now, and however, Mars rules the 6th house of Scorpio. Oh, thanks, Cash. I hope you watch it. So the issue is that I mostly see this last Mars-Rahu period being very positive for Theta. I see up until September of 2021, I see there being an overall net gain in the value of Theta. The problem is going to be, there might even be ups and downs because Mars does rule the 6th house. So there might be some ups and downs there. I do see it being very positive. I do think, though, after September, and this could be, this is right around the time that I've been predicting with Rahu entering Kritika, the nakshatra of Kritika. It's so interesting that I'm seeing the karma change on all these cryptocurrencies right around that time of Rahu entering Kritika. So let's take a look at this. Overall, the Rahu-Mars is going to be beneficial. I believe that Theta will continue to increase in value until end of midsummer, July 2021. There will be speed bumps during this time because of Mars rule as 6th lord. So, my opinion, guys, I think if people are worth to buy it now, and I think it's only around $1, I think, for Theta, I think. If you were to buy it now, I would say, yeah, it's pretty good. I would be looking into buying it myself. Now, guys, this obviously always consult with your qualified financial planner. Remember that. But it looks like a good buy, but I would be very cautious with Theta by the end of summer. I would be looking at okay, are we going to want to risk it? Because it is going to be entering this whole new Jupiter Mahadasha. We're going to talk about that. Jupiter Mahadasha. Let's take a look. That starts September 28th, 2021. And remember, guys, with these Mahadashas, whenever you start a Mahadasha, like if you start Jupiter Mahadasha, you're in Jupiter Bhukti as well. So there's this Jupiter period. Just like with any Mahadasha. If you enter Venus, you're going to be, the first period is going to be Venus, Venus. Then the next period is going to be Venus, Sun. Okay? Then it goes through the order of the 7 planets. So Jupiter, that lasts till 2023, guys. Jupiter is in 6th house. So let's take a look, guys, at the... Actually, we don't need to take a look at that. But you guys remember Jupiter's in the 6th house. Also, one more thing, guys. When I was doing my research, there's a text that we use with Vedic astrology. We take a lot of our data from a man, an ancient sage named Parashara. And Sage Parashara said that, and you guys can read that again, Sage Parashara declared that Jupiter is evil for Gemini ascendant, even though it is 7th and 10th lord. So even though it normally, under normal circumstances, the 7th and 10th Lord would be considered like a neutral planet for an ascendant, the sage, he said it's evil for Gemini ascendant. Yeah, I think so. Technically, all cryptos will have issues during crypto. So far, based on the 3 cryptos I looked at, it seems like there's a pattern of some sort of issues happening around end of this year, last quarter of this year. So September, October, November. Sometimes it's hard to precisely predict, but that period of time seems to be very volatile. So one of the things I wanted to show you guys why this Jupiter period is kind of going to be a problem was, we're going to go back to this chart, which I've kind of marked up quite a bit, was you see that Jupiter obviously is here in the 6th house, which can be a lot of problems. And then Jupiter rules the 7th house right here and the 10th house right here. And Sage Parashara says it's like an evil planet. But look at what also Theta is going to be activating right here. Remember, whatever Rashis the planet owns, the planets within those Rashi get activated. So we got the Sun and we got Saturn both being activated also during this Jupiter Mahadasha. The Sun, it's well known in Vedic astrology that the Sun and Saturn are both considered separative planets. They tend to separate us from things when we're running either their Mahadasha or their Bhukti. So that's why I see this as a very time where, Thetas, I could see it having a lot of problems around this time. And since that initial Bhukti of Jupiter is almost 2 years long, I just see it having some problems. That's why I said I can't see, maybe it will survive. There's potential that it might not even survive that Jupiter Bhukti because of, Jupiter is the 7th Lord. So there's potential that it might not even survive. This is based on my interpretation of the data. But it's going to be having a lot of problems, I believe, during that time. And let's go take a look at the Jupiter Mahadasha assessment, guys. So Jupiter Mahadasha assessment, I believe this is not a good time for the price of Theta. Jupiter in 6th house expands problems. Saturn will also contribute to the delays and setbacks that Theta will face during this time. I don't see very good outlook based on these factors in the very new crypto market. And of course, we also have the transits that are going on right now, guys. Let me click on something really fast. Click on the presentation here. Sometimes I'm looking for stuff on the computer. So guys, thank you so much for being so patient with me. We also got the transits going on, guys. Rahu, Jupiter, and Saturn transit. You guys remember these from the other videos. So I'm kind of been talking about these transits quite a bit. So we have the Rahu transit, which is happening right now. Rahu transit, 12th house of Taurus. September of Rahu transit, September 2021 through April. Guys, that's September of 2020, I believe. So I think that's a wrong date right there. So anyways, it's going to be transiting towards till April 12th, 2022. Jupiter transit, it's transiting the 9th house, I believe, which actually is giving purpose to the cryptocurrency. And then Saturn transit. So we can very quickly go through those transits and basically see if it's helping or hurting. So we know right now it's in Rahu Mars, which is very good for it right now. But this 12th house, this Rahu transiting the 12th house thing is not very good. So there could be some, it could be hurt it could be hurt in some ways. Let's take a look at the chart again. And if we look at the chart, guys, so Rahu is currently transiting. Wow, we might need to clean that up a little bit. But Rahu is currently transiting the 12th house here, all the way till April of 2022. The 12th house is known as the house of losses. So usually we haven't seen any losses with Theta yet, But, you know, it opens the door for some sort of losses. And that's why I'm thinking by the end of the year, it might be having problems with entering that Jupiter Bukti. And let's see. And then we have also, look real quick, we have the Jupiter transit, which Jupiter is currently transiting Aquarius right here, which I see being very good for Theta. So I think finding its purpose, that's not a problem. Also, the Saturn transit. You know, the Saturn transit over the 8th house is actually somewhat good. The only problem I really see, and I just drew over this whole thing, the real problem I see is Rahu transiting the 12th house right now. I think that, and then we're just waiting on September when it enters that Jupiter Dasha, or Jupiter Mahadasha, and I think there's going to be problems for Theta at the end of this year. Right now, I think it's okay to buy, even though they had this scare and kind of panic on Wall Street today because of the announcement of the capital gains taxes. I think that Theta will be good to buy for right now, but I think you're going to have to watch it very closely because I think things can, by the end of this year, move very fast on this. Wow, is there any questions from the chat? Oh, one more thing, guys. So I was going to give you my overview of the Dasha, or of the Theta. My overview assessment. As of this video, April 23rd, 2021, I believe that Theta is on a good trajectory. Around midsummer, before Theta enters Jupiter Mahadasha, September 2021, I would be wary of long-term value. Not all cryptos will survive what is coming. So I do believe there's going to be some sort of event or series of events which are going to cause some sort of financial reset. That's what I'm looking at right now. Either some sort of financial reset or just maybe the asset bubble. There's a big retraction or the asset bubble pops. I do kind of see that happening last quarter of the year. I'm seeing a lot of these cryptocurrencies charts. They're all kind of leading us to this September 2021 October timeframe. I'll have to analyze more cryptocurrency charts to see what I can see. When is Rahu ending its transit in 12th house? Rahu's ending its transit in April of 2022. So I believe that slide I had up was wrong. It was September of 2020 to April of 2022, I believe. Anything else, guys? I think that Theta's the long-term potential is kind of dangerous at this point. So I don't have as much of optimism as I did with Bitcoin and Ethereum, based on the chart that I saw. As long as we had the correct birth time, I would be kind of worried about the chart. Let's see if there's any other questions from the chat. So that's my assessment of Theta, guys. I'm going to be doing more of these cryptocurrencies. Also, I'm going to be still continuing to do readings because I know that some of my subscribers probably are not into cryptos, but I know that there's a lot of people that are into cryptos. Yeah, Colleen, I think the Bitcoin drop that happened and it went below 50,000 today. I think it's a warning signal of this whole Saturn transiting Capricorn thing, where Saturn's going to be transiting the 10th house, natural 10th house of Capricorn until April of 2022. And so this Saturn transit's going to be more government regulations, higher taxes. And so I think the markets got spooked today. I think Bitcoin's going to do all right. I just think that everyone's getting spooked right now because they are going to come in with more taxation. Oh, thanks, Cash. Thank you for everything you've done and sending me information about these cryptos because I'm learning. So you have a lot of knowledge on it. Thank you. Bitcoin drop. Is this a warning for all crypto? Sorry, I just read that question. But these cryptos, I believe it is the way of the future, and there's going to probably be a few dominant cryptos that take over. So I still think it is the way of the future, and that's what I'm looking at as an astrologer. I'm thinking of Age of Aquarius. this new digital realm that we're entering. This Age of Aquarius, a lot of what people don't know is Age of Aquarius is about networks, because Aquarius is the 11th house. 11th house is networks. So there's going to be an increase of information age, digital technology, and the world's just going to become more and more connected. It's going to be the world's going to get smaller through the Age of Aquarius as we approach it. So we are running blind. Okay, no. So anyways, if that's what everyone came to see, I'm very grateful everyone came to watch this. Thank you guys for watching. Will we be cashless in the future? I think we're going to be cashless in the future, and I think it's going to be, and it's not even me as an astrologer really saying that. It's just that I see where everything's going with cryptos, and with even things like Apple Pay and things like that. I think we're already heading. I use Apple Pay. I love Apple Pay. You just take out your phone and boop, and you pay for whatever you need to pay for. So I think we're heading that direction. Guys, Colleen, thanks for the question. I'm learning lots with your videos. Thank you, Kali Ma. Thank you. Kali's one of my favorite goddesses, by the way. I'm learning lots. Awesome, guys. Many blessings to you guys all. I don't see any more questions in the chart. I wish you guys many blessings. I will be doing another video tomorrow, Saturday. Let's just get another one out on this weekend. I haven't decided what it's going to be, but I'll announce it tomorrow in the early afternoon and Pacific Standard Time. Well, thank you guys.